In the Old Testament of the Bible, we discover the story of Hezekiah, a king with a lesson for us all. Hezekiah's reign was initially marked by success and prosperity, leading him to garner respect and admiration from his subjects and neighbors alike. However, as his wealth and power grew, so did his pride. In a moment of self-assuredness, Hezekiah made a decision that would have far-reaching consequences. When envoys from Babylon arrived, he chose to show them all his treasures, from the gold and silver to the spices and precious oils. This act was not merely a display of wealth, but a testament to his self-reliance and pride, a proclamation that he had achieved all this through his own strength and wisdom. Yet, this display of pride was not without consequences. It foreshadowed the impending Babylonian captivity, serving as a stark reminder of our inherent vulnerability to sin. The treasures Hezekiah displayed with pride would eventually be carried off to Babylon, an illustration of the transient nature of worldly possessions and the destructive potential of unchecked pride. God's response to Hezekiah's pride came through the prophecy of Isaiah. The prophet warned Hezekiah that the days were coming when everything in his palace, everything his ancestors had stored up, would be carried off to Babylon. This prophecy served as a divine reprimand, a call to humility, and a stark reminder of our dependence on God's grace. In the midst of his pride, Hezekiah was confronted with a sobering truth. All his achievements and possessions were fleeting without God's blessing. This realization marked a turning point in Hezekiah's life, leading him towards acceptance and humility. Hezekiah's pride, a mirror to our own, set the stage for a divine lesson on humility and dependence. His story serves as a timeless reminder that true strength comes not from our possessions or achievements, but from our humble dependence on God. So, let's take a leaf out of Hezekiah's book and strive to turn every moment of pride into an opportunity for grace. God, in his infinite wisdom, responded to Hezekiah's pride with a prophecy. A stern divine warning rolled forth from the lips of the prophet Isaiah, a prophecy that echoed with the resonating truth of God's displeasure. Hezekiah's pride had led him to flaunt his treasures before Babylonian envoys, a show of self-reliance that was not lost on the eyes of the divine. Isaiah's prophecy foretold a time of calamity, a time when Babylon would take everything that Hezekiah held dear. Every treasure he had shown off with such pride would be carried away to Babylon. This was not just a prediction of future events, but a divine reprimand for the pride and self-reliance that had led Hezekiah astray. God's response to Hezekiah's pride was firm and unyielding, a clarion call to humility and reliance on him. It served as a stark reminder that our achievements, our possessions, our treasures are transient. They are fleeting and ephemeral, like sand slipping through our fingers. Without God's blessing, they vanish like morning mist before the rising sun. This stern response from God underscores an eternal truth, our need for humility and reliance on him. It's a timeless reminder that rings true even today. Our strength, our success, our prosperity, they all stem from our humble dependency on God. God's response to Hezekiah's pride serves as a timeless reminder of our need for humility and reliance on him. In the wake of God's response, a call for transformation echoed through Hezekiah's life. This king, once filled with pride, found himself humbled by a prophecy of doom. But it was in this moment of humility that Hezekiah found the true strength that comes from relying on God. He accepted the divine warning, surrendering his pride and self-reliance. Hezekiah's acceptance of the prophecy was not a sign of weakness, but a testament to his faith. This acceptance, this humility, was not a one-time event, but a continuous journey. Hezekiah had to learn to depend on God, to trust in his wisdom and his plan. It was a transformation that required him to put aside his ego, his desire for control, and his fear of the unknown. It was a transformation that called for a surrender of the self and a wholehearted embrace of God's will. This is the lesson that Hezekiah's story teaches us. When faced with divine warnings, we too must learn to surrender our pride and trust in God. We must remember that our achievements, our possessions, our status, they are all transient. What endures is our faith in God, our humility before His greatness, and our reliance on His grace. Hezekiah's transformation invites us to turn our moments of pride into opportunities for grace, humility, and deeper dependency on God.